From our studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park, it's Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee. Welcome to Okoboji Broadcast, everybody. Coming to you from our studios right here at Arnold's Park Amusement Park. Gary Wright is here with me here today. He is a farm management specialist with ISU Extension and Outreach. And Gary, welcome. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This is great.
It's isn't it? Both in shirt sleeves, and feels so good outside right now.
Talk about a topic that people think spring is coming. That's why we talk about this topic, right? So,
you know, for some of those sprouts that have started to on your annuals and so forth, now they may get a unpleasant surprise at some point here, but it sure feels good to bring in March this way.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you've got a meeting tomorrow, and it's a continuation of some meetings that you had virtually in February and so forth, right. But it has to do with the Farm Bill meeting.
Yep.
And so that's tomorrow at 9:30. What is this exactly?
Okay. Well, yeah, we started, because of COVID largely, we started with a lot of webinars, actually back on the 17th day of January, and then there's been a couple since then, and those are all recorded, so I'll mention it tomorrow again. I want to tell people they're still out there. And tomorrow, though, it's going to be in person. It's largely going to be very similar content because it's all about the decision tool that an individual needs to make, a producer with at-risk farming needs to make by March 15th. And that's like next Monday.
That's like next
Monday.
Monday.
So that's like not a whole lot of time for that decision if somebody's not done that.
So what's the impact? And does this go back to the Farm Bill of 2018 and a continuation? And what's the potential impact here, Gary?
You're exactly right. Yeah, this is actually our third crop, 2021 crop in the 2018 Farm Bill. So we're a little over halfway, I guess you're looking at like that, because we've got 2 years after this year. But this decision relates to the 2021 crop that they're getting ready, Lord willing, to plant here in the next 60 days or so.
Yeah.
And what makes this, again, not unlike the past, makes it a little challenging in that in making the right decision by March 15th, they're being asked to think about what's going to be happening with the crop that we're getting ready to grow from a yield standpoint, but also the marketing year actually starts September 1st, 2021 and goes to August 31st of 22.
Okay.
So we're really asking folks to look into the crystal ball and try to get an idea, but those are the decisions we'll talk about that will actually kick off the time. I call it Outlook. We'll talk about prices. We'll talk about some of the experts out there that are projecting prices. We'll give people a perspective on that because price is one of the two inputs. The other major input that they'll talk about is what do they think yields are going to do. And again, right now, the problem is, as we all know, we really could use a rain.
I was just going to say, we are so dry. I can't, we did not have significant, we had some snowfall, but not significant snowfall.
No, my 88-year-old dad will often say the best time for a drought is in the winter. And and we've gotten decent snows, but I think it's probably, that's part of the challenge. The lakes, I think we know the lake heights are going to be down. I think people are talking about, I regularly talk in 13 counties of Iowa about people, their tile lines have not run.
And I've heard that as well, that people say my tile hasn't ran even last fall, things weren't running.
So that what that's basically telling us is the subsoil moisture heading into this year is going to be a lot different than a year ago. Last year it dried up toward the end of the growing season, but we had a lot of subsoil moisture that carried us.
Right.
Largely northwest Iowa, where I'm working, we really had not record crops, but we really had near trend line crop yields. But again, that's the second component of these meetings is what do we think going into next year, yields-wise? What's going to happen with this growing season? And it's pretty muddy out there right now because the snow is melting.
For sure. But
I'm
I'm an old farm kid, so I know trying to read that crystal ball can be kind of tough.
Yes, the almanac, right? Verily took up at the almanac, and the thing is, again, the good news is with genetics and management practices, we now know that maybe in the past 25 to 30 inches was kind of a number that we just felt we always had to have,
right?
And it's certainly not a bad thing to have that, but really what's critical anymore is getting it a timely rain, that 2 or 3 inch rain, when we're in the middle of pollination, and which is that late July, early August time frame. And again, not to dismiss the need for rain sooner than that, because the ground is really hard. It's pretty dry, and so we want to have a seed bed that's also got some moisture, so that we can allow that seedling to come out of the ground.
Well, as I recall, last summer, we got some well-timed, decent rains, but I had friends farming down in southeast Iowa, didn't get those rains, and then they'd call me and call me names because we got rain up here.
Yeah, invariably my job, if we had a hailstorm that was not too far away from us either last year, and when I'm out there talking about the near record or trend line yields, those people, they didn't experience that. And actually, I farm in northwest Iowa, down in Ida County, and US Highway 20. As you head south of US 20, as farther you get to Missouri, the bleaker it became from a moisture standpoint, and their crops were not near as good as what it was, in our area.
Yeah.
And then southeast Iowa, you get to about Des Moines or so, you got the infamous Derecho.
Yeah, exactly.
And they kind of took a beating.
Straight winds like never seen before. So
exactly.
Absolutely. So again, the meeting's tomorrow at 9:30.
Yes.
Need to pre-register, and I guess it's only a day here, but
we really want to manage the risks of COVID again, and we would ask you to pre-register. Again, I've had several of these meetings already. I don't know that we've turned anybody away because we haven't had to deal with issues of space.
Right.
Largely, we're going to play the guidelines. The university guidelines are clear yet, 6 foot, and we're going to try to encourage people to wear masks, and so we're going to do the things we need to do to be able to make the meeting as, obviously it's beneficial information-wise. We don't want anybody to get sick either.
Right. And where are you at?
We are actually now as I was talking to the county folks as I left there, we think based on numbers right now we're going to be in the Extension office conference room.
Okay.
But, this is a clear but, if we end up with numbers that would not allow us to comfortably do that, we do have the Expo building reserved as well.
Yeah, you got community rooms, you got Expo, so you got...
So we've got a lot of space. It really is right there for purposes of planning for it. It's right there together for us, so we'll just have to see what we end up. We're getting calls, I guess, this morning. The county folks have told me, and people want to call the county. They can always call me, email me or whatever, but the best place to, if they want to, is call the Dickinson County office directly for tomorrow. Next week, call Spencer, Clay County, because we're going to have one at 9:30 not next week, Thursday, the 11th, is actually going to be in Clay County, and that's in Spencer, and that's actually at the Methodist Church in Spencer. They're going to want to, again, make a phone call and register there if they would, and then we'll make sure that we don't have any issues.
Yeah, that date is coming up here next week real quick for them to have decisions made and ready to go.
Yeah, it really, we're, in all fairness to my partners in FSA, USDA, I know they're working hard right now. I've had them at several of the meetings. I don't know exactly if they'll be there tomorrow or not, but the thing about it is that they are also under the gun in terms of what COVID has allowed them to do. And it's becoming a little bit of how much time is available in the day to get the people through it.
Yeah.
It is a case, it really is important for people not to just let the date go, because one of the things, again, they'll learn tomorrow is that if you do not sign up by the end of the day of the 15th, there'll be a default to what you did last year. And last year, about 86% of the people for corn chose PLC, and PLC might not be the decision that they want to make this year.
Yeah.
About the same percent last year chose soybeans, Ark County soybeans last year. Actually, they had to choose 2 years in a row how the enrollment was last year. This year, maybe if that was defaulted, based on best information we have right now. But that's all the things that we're going to kind of talk about in the meeting.
At least get all the information you can, so you're making an educated decision.
Try to. It's a decision tool. It's kind of a strange duck, I guess, but it's easy to use. But the unfortunate part about it is you got to start with what do you think prices are going to do, and what do you think yields are going to do, and then I'll give them some web pages. All those webinars I already mentioned. There's also some other people besides Iowa State University that have some web pages that kind of help you with that decision, and it'll hopefully be a good roughly an hour, maybe an hour and a half with Q&A. So hopefully it'll be worth the folks' time.
More questions, the more information you get, and it's a great service from Iowa State Extension. So, Gary, thank you for coming in, man.
I appreciate you having us.
Pleasure indeed. Always love having people from Iowa State Extension, Dickinson County Extension, and Gary Wright has joined us here today. We want to thank him, and we want to thank you for watching us right here on Okoboji Broadcast. Okoboji Broadcast from the studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park is brought to you by the Scott Troutman State Farm Agency in Spirit Lake, Pure Fishing in Spirit Lake, Last Touch Painting and Cleaning, providing interior, exterior, house painting, and professional cleaning services in Spirit Lake. Quest Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services. Advisor Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz. Ducky's Marine and Motorsports Repair in Spirit Lake. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner. Attorney Bethany Brands at Brands Law Office in Spirit Lake. Ruthven Locker at the Lake, where carnivores are welcome on Hill Avenue in Spirit Lake. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji. The YMCA of the Okobojis is the Bedell Family YMCA, building strong families and strong communities.